Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Zoom call. I'm really excited to talk about this topic, and it's how to get motivated and stay motivated. So for me, this is a topic that I really have embraced because when I started in business, I wasn't doing so hot. So I'd be, struggling with the motivation. I'd go into highs and lows or have three good months or first quarter, second quarter come down in third quarter. So I found out the secret, if you will, to stay motivated and get the competitive edge. So that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. You're going to take some notes, but I am going to send you this full recording back so you have it. But I want you to share it with yourselves and with anyone that's in your team, okay? If you have a team. So let's get into it. I'm not going to be talking about myself. So I'm going to cover a few things that I always cover real quick just to get everybody in the mood. So to be a top producer, you must understand first, self-mastery, right? The 6 inches between your ears, very important. Remember, whenever you stop moving towards your personal or business goals is when you suffer an emotional setback, you become immobilized. And what it's called, it's self-mastery. Self-mastery to me is your self-esteem or self-image have suffered an emotional setback. So when your self-esteem, self-image suffered an emotional setback, you become immobilized. Some of you know what you're doing, and some of you don't even realize what you're doing. So some of us say, hey, you know what, Omar, I'm not going to do this business stuff today. I think I'm going to just get organized and organize my bedroom. And what are you doing? Avoiding unpleasant activity, right? So remember, self-mastery is your self-esteem, self-image, which is your confidence, which is what makes you move forward when people say no, or you get rejection or failure. And the only time you ever become immobilized is when you accept this self-mastery to stop you in your tracks. We don't want that. The next thing I want you to do is keep getting on these calls. I'm not selling anything to you today because you have all the tools, all my audios, videos, books, all that good stuff. So I want you to really, look, I promise you, if you will take one of my skills a week, one skill a week for 52 weeks, I promise you, your incomes will soar. Promise. So please do that. I provide the tools. Next, got to learn to take action. Like I said, do one skill a week. Some people will, some people won't. Listen to my audios, 20 minutes a day, 4 days a week. If you do, I promise you, you will get results. Look where it took me from zero to wealth, right? And all I want to do is share with you guys the way I got here and what I learned from all my mentors and just share it with you so you guys can get the results that you want, because that's my goal now. So I want you to stay fired up. You heard me at the event and wherever I go, you got to get fired up. People don't buy from dead people. So before you talk to someone about your idea, your product, your service, whatever you're doing, make sure you're from 1 being dead, 10 being fired up, at least a 7 to 10, a 7 to 10. And don't talk to anyone unless you reprogram yourself. Like I said, I do things before I speak, before I talk to people. I've seen every other top speaker or producer have things that they do that get them fired up. Like for instance, LeBron James, what does he do? He goes up to the chalk, puts it in his hands and throws it up in the air. That's his thing. Michael Jordan was said to wear his North Carolina shorts under his Bulls shorts for his whole career. So what do you do that fires you up, that makes you say, I am ready to do business now? So come up with something like that, okay? And if you want, after we do the event right now, I'll take questions and we can work on that stuff. But it's very important that you have these things that work for you that get you going, because everybody needs to be fired up. I mean, I remember being in college and I had a track coach, I had a football coach, I had a wrestling coach, and I had a music coach, right? So then we get out of school and, unless you're lucky enough to meet somebody like my mentors or me, you really don't have somebody that can coach and mentor you, keep you going. So get fired up. That's why I tell you, get on those audios, get on those videos, get on those books every day and make yourself get going. Take action now today. Very good. All right. So here we go. This is going to be a different, you probably thought, oh, Omar's going to talk about just motivation. No, I'm going to go into the meat and potatoes of how to get motivated and stay motivated. And those of you that are in business or you're doing it for your business, get ready, because I'm going to give you some real gold nuggets here. I guarantee it. Let's go. First, to identify a top producer's roles for peak performance, the first thing we do is we set objectives and goals to achieve the mission. Now, I'm going to break this down for you. I'm going to give you a little overview right now. Set objectives and goals to achieve the mission. So what are the objectives? The objectives could be to buy a new truck for the company. It could be to go on a super vacation with your family. It could be higher education, whatever it is. It's your objectives and goals to achieve the mission. So the objective would be, let's say buy a new piece of machinery. The objective is that. The goal to achieve that mission would be that piece of machinery would increase our bottom line profits. Does that make sense? So there's a difference between an objective and a goal to achieve the mission, right? So make sure you get that clear. The objective is what you're going to do. The goal is what the result that you're going to get from it. You do that, it'll make more depth in your goal setting. Got it? And that's what I'm into. I'm into like depth perception. All right, let's get into it. Now you make an accurate action plan to make that mission. So let's say your goal is to make $120,000 this year. I'm just going to use a number, any number. So $120,000 a year. So that would mean that you have to break that down from 12 months all the way down to 1 month. So that would be $10,000 a month, correct? So $10,000 a month. So now what I do is reverse engineering. So I take that 120 grand and I go from the day I'm starting to the 120K. And then I reverse it all the way back to 1. So I know exactly what I need to do to hit that number. Watch this. Now you organize the work, analyze the work, make sure it makes sense. And if you have a team, delegate the work, right? Organize the work, analyze the work, and then delegate the work if you have a team. Now, what this is a game plan. Now, we're watching right now a lot of sports on TV, and you see that the game plan is very important to winning, yes? So I'm sharing with you guys that us in business and in our personal life, our game plan is very important to winning, right? Now, what I want you to do is communicate with your whole team or with whoever is working with you. So I have people that work with me for many years. So what I do is I communicate what I want. How do I do that? I provide coaching and mentoring, and I give them the information that they need to do their jobs well. It's very important. Now, if you're a one-man or a one-woman show right now, okay, do this for yourself. You know, find the coaching you need and mentoring and have the information strong and steady so you can do your job well. Does that make sense? Now, the next thing, measure your results. Check against forecasts. Don't wait. Most people wait for a month. No, I check every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, you check, measure your results and their results. And what I would do is create a text program, if you don't have one, very inexpensive, for your people. Realize people don't read emails anymore, but they do read texts. So if you can text your people and make sure that you're texting them every day, hey, how's it going on that project we're working on, or that goal, the mission? Oh, great, great, great. Okay, just touching base. That way you don't have to call them every day. I would recommend you call them at least once a week. I do that on Mondays, normally. So I get everybody started on the right foot. Okay. So measure yours and their results, check against forecasts to see that each person knows what they are doing and where they fit in a larger picture. So what I do, I use this little thing. If you have a piece of paper, just write the word G Pi, an acronym, G Pi acronym. The G, I check how are they doing or how am I doing on my goal. The P is how am I doing on my plan. The I is, did I implement what I said I would? Because most individuals or companies fail because they fail to implement what they said they were going to do. And the E is I evaluate all of the above. So GPI, goal, plan, implement, and evaluate. Next, I have a little saying, if you have a team, hear me out, guys, only if you have a team. People respect what leadership inspects. People respect what leadership inspects. So make sure that you are inspecting so they respect. Got it? Very good. Next, watch, we're going to go deeper. It's good stuff. Created this just for you. So I'm going to show you some success ratios so you know exactly how to get there, right? From now on, you can say, hey, Omar taught me how to get there exactly, like right on target. So here we go. So you take your yearly sales goal divided by the number of working days in your year, which equals how much you need to earn each day based on your sales ratio. How much activity does it require for you to achieve the number? So for instance, we said we wanted to make $120,000 in a year. That broke down to $10,000 a month. How many days a month do you work? Some of you work 4 days. Some of you work 5 days. Some of you work 6 days. So then you break down that 10 grand into those numbers, right? So if it's 5 days a week, you would break 20, you'd have 20 working days for that month. And you break it up into 20, from 20 days to 10 grand. You're not doing 30 days because you're not working 30 days. So what you want to do is people get this wrong. And that's why I'm doing this for you guys. It's not the year, it's the days you work. So if you have an office or a team or yourself, you work 5 days a week, then you only have 20 working days. So now you take that 120 and you can do the year and you can break it down to months. So 20 days is 10 grand. Break down that 10 grand to daily amounts. Does that make sense? Break it down to daily amounts. Now, so working with ratios, here's what I want you to do. I do it every 2 weeks. Take 2 weeks and track your performance. Don't do anything that you've been doing. Just go about your business as usual. Then change one thing, like an opening line, for the next 2 weeks and see how your ratios improve. If they improve, keep that line and change another aspect of prospecting or anything that you're doing, customer service or any of that, right? Or getting booked. Let's say you're trying to get booked as a speaker. If you're saying something and the speakers bureaus are not accepting you, or maybe you've got something wrong with what you're saying to them, or your what's called a one sheet, which is what you send to them, or your recording of what you show them, right? So that would be for those of you I can see. I have a lot of folks on that business on here also. All right. And by the way, I'm going to take questions at the end. So if your business goals are to achieve 10 grand for the month in 20 days, then we have to take a look at daily activity, which equals contacts, which equals presentations, which equals closed business, which equals results. So here, let me break it down. In the health club business, my people had to make 100 phone calls a day, 100 phone calls a day to be successful. So 100 phone calls a day, right? So these people would make 100 phone calls a day when they're starting, just to get the momentum going, right? Well, we did our due diligence and found out that if they made 100 phone calls, they would get 10 appointments. So that means the daily activity was 100 phone calls. There it is in front of you. 10 appointments is the contacts. Now, you know that everybody would not show up, right? So we would confirm the appointment in the afternoon, the day of, and then that, let's say of the 10 contacts, 7 showed up for the presentation. Then you would walk them through the presentation. If you were new with me at the health club, your goal was to make 1 sale a day. 1 sale a day. Because you know, in the membership business, be backs or be gone. They'll never come back. Right? So 1 sale a day. If you were good, meaning my top producers were making 5 to 7 sales a day. Why? They have learned my materials and they owned it, which is like they used to say, Omar, and you guys will feel the same way, I promise you. If you will master my training and my material, I have people, businessmen and women call me up and goes, Omar, when I'm talking to people, it almost feels like I have an unfair advantage because I know what they're going to say. And I just have to wait to say, respond. Remember, the main thing in business is you have to remember when someone gives you a stimulus, whatever that may be, an objection, I can't meet with you, you don't close them. Your goal is to get a stimulus from someone, pause and respond naturally. And the better you get at stimulus, pause, response, the more money you make. And that will be the next Zoom that we'll do, which I think you'll like. Okay. So constantly improving your conversion ratio. Remember, the more you do, the more you do, the more you do, the more you make. So you want to get really good at what you do. That's why I'm telling you, entertain anything that makes you better, right? So I'm willing to entertain anything that makes me better. That means I'm coachable, never get stuck. So master the steps of investigative selling. Activity equals context equals results. Activity equals contacts, close sales equals results. So it's very important that you do that, okay? So activity, context, close sales equals results. That's how you stay motivated when you're making money, right? If you're making money, you're motivated because action creates action. And the only time that you're moving towards positivity is when you're getting results. So that's why I'm doing this today. I thought, I had a few people thought, oh, you're just going to cover Get Motivated, your audios. No, this is a whole different thing. A whole different thing. Good. So here we go. What holds people from achieving success? What holds people from achieving success? Well, here you go. I'm going to cover the things that hold people from achieving success. Okay? What holds people back from achieving success? First of all, emotional handicap that holds you back first is procrastination. 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 The best way to eliminate procrastination from your lives is to live by these words. I live by these words. My mentor, Tom Murphy, taught me these words. There's 12 words here. I must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. I must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. So whatever you're doing, I had this in my car. I had this on my mirror. I had this anywhere, and I would move it around so I wouldn't get used to it, right? So areas not to procrastinate in. See, this is why people get demotivated. Here's the areas: setting goals. Make sure you set goals in all areas of your life. Number 2, educating ourselves. We must educate ourselves and continuous and never-ending improvement. Number 3, health and nutrition. I always tell everybody to get rich and sick is stupid. And I told you, Jim Rohn used to say to me, treat your body like a woodshed. Tell people, because he knew I was very into it, tell people to treat their body like a temple, not a woodshed. Treat your body like a temple, not a woodshed. Next, making financial investments. Now, I am not a financial advisor, but I've done very well with money. I'm not telling you what to do, but just be careful in today's turbulent times. That's all I got to say. Just be careful where you're putting your money. Spending time with loved ones. That's another reason that a lot of us, if you want to achieve a goal, like for instance, when I opened up the health clubs, Mr. Murphy said, you're going to have to really put the pedal to the metal. And he said, you're going to have to work. So I didn't take a day off for 3 years. 3 years. I even worked holidays. I would be catching up on paperwork and goal setting and things and training and things I could do. So I want you to realize that, all of these things, emotional handicap, procrastination, the best way to eliminate procrastination from our lives is to live by these words. I must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. Now, emotional handicap number 2, what holds people back? Guilt. Guilt is another one that holds you from being positive and motivated. Guilt. So guilt. Why are people guilty? Well, here we go. All of this is research for my programs, guys. Okay. Not controlling your temper. And just realize anytime you lose your temper, you lose control of the conversation. I learned that a long time ago from a negotiating champion. His name is Herb Cohen. He wrote the book, How to Negotiate Anything. And he said, look, anytime you lose your temper in negotiation, you lose control. So make sure you don't lose your temper. Wasting time. Man, everybody does this. Everybody, including me sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, why did I do that? Like, for instance, I only go to lunch or breakfast or for a cup of coffee if it's for someone that needs me for business or something important with family. Besides that, I don't do that stuff. I stay focused. I eat my breakfast, I work out, I eat lunch at my office, and I'll go out to dinner. Yes, every night if you ask me. But when I'm working, that's it, right? So that's next, neglecting family and friends. That's a big guilt thing. You feel guilty when you do stuff like that. These are things that slow us down. Not doing the things to our best of our abilities. When let's say you hang up the phone and you didn't close a deal or you didn't get the appointment and you start beating yourself up, guys, don't beat yourself up. If it doesn't serve you, don't say it, don't own it, don't think it. If it doesn't serve you, don't say it, don't own it, don't think it. But every day, remember Brian Tracy told me when I was 19, your goal is to be better every day, be better every day, be better every day, be better every day. Great. Not taking proper care of our bodies. That's another way. If you don't take care of your body, if you don't have energy, you can't succeed. You've got to work on that. I go out to these companies and I train them. And, when they hire me for a year for retainer for 7 figures, I do a ride with the top producers. And you wouldn't believe the terrible shape that these people are in because they're focusing only on making sales and not living a lifestyle. So make sure you're treating your body properly. Next one that holds people, worry. Worry. What do we worry about? Well, we worry about the past. Guys, the past is nothing but a bucket of ashes. If we were going camping and you said, Omar, you're responsible for bringing the firewood, and I showed up with 2 big buckets full of ashes, you'd say to me, what are you doing? We can't relight those ashes. You already burnt that wood. So most people are walking around with buckets of ashes. Forget the past. We all mess up. I mess up. We mess up. Everybody messes up. Nobody's perfect. There's only one perfect. It ain't you and it ain't me. We know who it is. So I want you to realize that we mess up. So when you mess up, just learn from it. Learn from it, right? Learn from it, grow from it, and become better from it, right? Next, the future. We worry about the future. Don't worry about the future. Create your own future. Design your life. That's why I'm here. So all of you design your lives, right? The future. Focus on the present and the future, but focus on today. But if you do what we just talked about with the ratios, you can focus on today and you still can occasionally look at the future to make sure you're on track. Next, financial matters. Look, everybody, I used to have them. I used to eat tuna out of cans, out of that 200 square foot apartment. Everybody's been through it, right? I used to tell people, it's a big joke. If somebody took my wallet, I'd owe them money. It's like, so it was that bad, so, I parked my car 2 blocks away so collectors wouldn't take it. Guys, I used to change my oil in LA. I would pull up on a side of a driveway. You know how you could pull into a garage and then there's the little sidewalk. I would pull it up on the side of that, get under with a bucket and drain the oil and then change the filter and then put oil in the top. That's how I changed my oil on the side of a street in LA. Crazy. Our careers, we worry about careers. Now, you got to realize that your career is in your destiny. And you must, if you want something bad enough, you must be obsessive about it and learn to have a clear description of what you want so you can get to it, right? So a clear description and your method of how you're going to get there. Most people, they set career goals and they wonder why they don't achieve them, but you can't just set a goal and vibrate towards it. I know that we love Bob Proctor, my mentor, and he brought me into all his seminars because he said, Omar, everybody thinks that you just sit there and vibrate what they want. No, you still got to do the work, Next, our health. We worry about our health. Absolutely. We all do. We all worry about our health. And then, of course, our personal safety in today's world. So listen to this one. Benjamin Franklin used to write down everything he worried about in the beginning of the month. And at the end of the month, he would look at everything he worried about, and he realized that very little that he worried about actually happened. So watch, here we go. How to eliminate worry. Realize the time to live is now. Live in the present, an occasional glance towards the future. Focus on today's activity. Make a list of what you worry about, then put it away. Review it in a month like Benjamin Franklin did, and now see how many of those things actually really happened. C, ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen to you? Really, what's the worst thing that could happen to you? If it's not health, everything else can be fixed. Deliberately act in direct contrast to your usual areas of worry, right? And then choose not to allow it in your life. I told people, some of you saw my Instagram this month, I talked about when I run, I use my hands and I push my hands aside and I put negatives go by, and then I go like this is my forehead, positives come in. Negatives go by, positives come in. Negatives go by, I'm pushing the negatives away. One of my goals is to have one positive day in my whole life. I've never had a fully positive day. They say we get hit with 1,200 negative influences a day. 1,200, think about it. You get up, the news. You get in your car, somebody honks at you or something, right? Whatever it is, you walk into a meeting, they cancel. Whatever it is, you get 1,200. You look up to the billboard, it's, they're selling you something because you were had a problem or something or an injury or something, right? So everywhere you go, there's something negative. So the key is to not allow it in your life as much as possible. So what holds people back? High anxiety and stress. Let's talk about that one. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I put this together just for you. First time I'm teaching it. So high anxiety and stress. So what causes stress? Well, according to our research, a bad attitude. Yes, a bad attitude. If you got a bad attitude, you're going to be stressful. It's funny. I was with Zig Ziglar one time, well, many times since 96, 50 cities a year. And we would get on these buses to go to the hotels from the airport. And we got on this bus, and he's the nicest guy you ever met. He gets on that bus and he's, hello, everyone. Hello, how are you? Very good. How's it going? I'm doing better than good. How's it going? And he goes up to this lady and he goes, how are you today? And she just didn't even acknowledge him. And we were like 12 inches from her. He goes, ma'am, how are you today? And she just looked at him and just didn't even acknowledge him. And he whispers in my ear, he leans over, he goes, who licked that candy off of her Tootsie Roll? Like, yeah, that was pretty good. So bad attitude, lack of organization. Look, guys, I used to be not great at organization, which I'm going to share with you some cool things today. But organization is something that stresses people out. I know I have siblings that can't find their keys for 30 minutes just about every time they're going out. I have a friend that forgets something every time he's going on a trip. You know, it's just lack of organization. Next, bad news causes stress, right? And that happens sometimes. Forgetting people's names. I know that sounds crazy, but in the sales business, a lot of people get stressful about that. Canceled appointments, that stresses you out because, you know, by the way, if you're in the business that you go on appointments or they come to you, make sure you confirm the appointments the night before and the day of, so you don't waste your time. Think of yourself as a valuable consultant. And if your time is wasted, you just missed out on money. Next, running late. How many people run late and they're all stressed out? Well, guess what? Start earlier. You know, I'm Cuban. Cubans are known to be late everywhere. My family's late for everything. My father and my brother was late for his own wedding, 30 minutes. I mean, another one's late for an hour. So guys, plan your time properly so you get there on time, or I always get there 15 minutes early. I'm like the only Cuban you know that's on time. Paperwork that's wrong. Oh man, when you mess up your paperwork, that messes up stress. So make sure that if you are doing any kind of agreements, that those agreements are actually, make sure you, as I learned from my mentor, check, and double check. Check, and double check all paperwork. And now it's easy to get faked out because a lot of stuff is done on your laptop with DocuSign and stuff. Make sure you read stuff. What I do is I print it up anyway. I print it up, read it, and I mark it up. And then if it looks good, then I DocuSign it. Okay. Poor messages. Be careful of the messages you're sending by text or email, because if you're sending messages and you send it, and now you're like, oh my God, because people read the worst in every message. So make sure you check your messages before you send them out. And traffic. People worry about traffic. I'll never forget, I was with Jim Rohn in Los Angeles, and he loved to go fishing. He loved to go fishing. So he had this beautiful RV. And I don't know if you've ever been to LA, but LA and some cities, when you go to get on the freeway, they have a red light and you have to wait for it to go green, right? So we pulled up in his RV and this person's honking behind him, just going crazy, screaming out the window, not knowing that there's a red light there. And they blow by us, blow the red light, and we go into the freeway and it's stopped. So this person's right in front of us, and Jim Rohn looks at me, he goes, all that for nothing, just sitting right there in front of us. You know, it's like, it's like traffic. Learn about traffic. Next, emotional handicap, negativity. Now we're getting into it. Choose not to have it in your life. Choose not to have it in your life. Let me show you something. Moment of truth. I call it MOT, moment of truth. This is out of your Success Blueprint audios that you have in your library. Success Blueprint, okay? So make sure you listen to it. So here you go. MOT, moment of truth. Here's my little thing that I use. Imagine that is your arm, right? So imagine that's your arm. And what I do is I put my arm going across like this. And when I have to make a decision, my arm is my life track, That's my life track. Now, when I come to the fork of the road, I take my two fingers and I split them and I look at both options at the moment of truth. The moment of truth is right here. Right here. That's your moment of truth. When you're at the fork of the road, that's moment of truth. So you go down your life track, you come to the moment of truth, and now you evaluate all the positives and all the negatives, all the positives, all the negatives, and you decide to choose which way to go, right? So the more better choices you make, the faster you get to your results on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, biannual, or annual. See what I mean? Like, for instance, when I go out, Mr. Murphy, he's 88 years young. He likes to have a dessert. So, we normally go and go to a place that has desserts. Now, I don't eat a lot of desserts except for like special occasions. So being with him is a special occasion. So we go, and I know that if I take 5 of those desserts off that dessert platter, that I'm going to increase my calories and probably not sleep because I'm not used to eating all that sugar, right? So, because it's only at night at dinner. So I made a choice, a conscious choice at the moment of truth, that I would do a bad choice, eat sweets. And then what I do the next day is then I work out twice as hard. So I burn up more calories. See what I mean? So now I'm going positive again. Or like that. Right? So emotional handicap number 6. Now, this is a tough one on a lot of people. Depression. I feel there's a lot of lonely people in this world. So let's cover it. Main reasons people get depressed. Disappointments. Hey, you're going to get disappointed all the time. People will disappoint you. You won't get the raise you deserve. Somebody else will. Family members, friends. You're going to get disappointment. Just accept that it's part of life. And you know what? If someone disappoints you, if they do it more than once, eliminate them from your life. Eliminate them from your life. Next, rejection. I was rejected since I got from Cuba because I couldn't speak English. Rejection is tough, and I had to overcome that in business. Overestimating others and yourself. Sometimes we don't double check other people. Make sure if you're working with anyone else that you do your due diligence so they get you the results you want. Conflicting goals. So conflicting goals is doing different, like say you want to become a multimillionaire, but every time American Idol comes on, you want to watch it, right? So what you're doing is you have a conflicting goal because you know that if you're watching TV every night, there's no way you're going to achieve your goals because it takes concentrated effort, obsessiveness to hit a goal. Especially the bigger the goal, the harder it is. So you got to work harder, right? Next, sickness. That causes depression. Yeah, if you don't feel good or you got family that doesn't feel good, that's depression. Unfair comparisons. Guys, I tell my kids, don't compare yourself to anyone on the internet. I mean, every time I go to a party or some occasion, people are taking pictures of the highlight of their night or day or whatever. In fact, some of them are faking it. They're like, hey guys, come here. And everybody, yeah, it's a bunch of baloney, right? So don't compare yourself to anyone. You be you and you do the best you can every day. How to overcome depression. Talk to positive people, hang around eagles, hang around like-minded people, right? Number 2, use positive affirmations and self-talk. I use prayer. I use the self-talk, that attitudes towards failure, which I'll cover next time for you guys, but here's a couple of them. I'm not judged by the number of times I failed, but the number of times I succeed. Number of times I succeed is in direct proportion to the number of times I can fail and keep trying. So that's one of my things that I'm going to give these to you at the next one. I have the attitudes towards failure. I never see failure as failure, but only as a learning experience. I never see failure as failure, but only as the opportunity to practice my techniques and perfect my performance. I never see failure as failure, but as a game I must play to win. I never see failure as failure, but as an opportunity to change course in my direction. I change something. I never see failure as failure, but only as a game I play to win, right? So, or develop my sense of humor. Whatever it is, I have all these for you. So we'll cover them. Listen to motivational audios and music to get your juices flowing. Consciously avoid putting yourself down. And if you make a mistake, don't say it, don't think it, don't own it. Next, don't say it, don't own it, don't think it, next, right? And proper exercise, move your body. Now that I don't own health clubs, I can tell you, you can just go for a walk or go for a swim or go for a bike ride. Just move your body, right? I'm a member of 2 clubs. One, I got a free membership because I own them. But yeah, you don't need, I walk now almost every day. I love it. I live on the beach, so it's fun. All right, so now I'm gonna turn and change about getting there quicker. So I'm going to talk to you about using your time effectively as an entrepreneur, which will help you get motivated and stay motivated. So what I want you to do is realize that 20% of the country is doing 80% of the business. 20% of the country is doing 80% of the business. Just like if you own a company, 20% of your people are doing 80% of the business, right? And you as an individual, 20% of your income is coming from doing the right thing 80% of the time. So Omar, how do you become more effective at this Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, right? I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. You ready? You don't want to be part of that bottom group. You know, you're the 3 to 10. That's where people are not like becoming wealthy. And when I say wealth, you know, it's in all areas of your life: spiritual, health, happiness, and money, right? All right, so I'm going to show you how to do this. Ready? Great investigators, entrepreneurs are excellent time and territorial planners. I'm going to give you a formula, and I'm going to send it to you later so you have it and you can share it with yourself, your family, your, you know, whatever, your team if you have a team. Okay. So what percentage of time should you be allocating to the following? According to my time management course, which you have, here's the percentages on a business level. 15% personal and professional development every day, 15% of your day. 20% learning your product and service and that of your competitor. Don't forget that, okay? 20% honing your presentation skills, 20%. And 45%, if you're in business, whether you're a speaker, own industrial, own a trucking company, own a plumbing company, own a gardening, own an IT company, whatever it is, 45% of your time should be in prospecting. As long as the funnel's full, you will always be in business. So keep your funnel full. So time management makes a difference between working harder and then smarter. So let's take a look. Why is it so important? All right, now we're going to break it down. Ready? It prevents future challenges. Time management, time territorial management for some of you prevents future challenges. Next, it eliminates guilt that we were talking about before, right? Guilt, the gift that keeps on giving, right? Guilt. Next, gives more quality time for family. Next, creates a foundation of discipline. I love the word discipline. Look it up in Webster's dictionary. You don't have to, I'll tell you. The definition of discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and follow it. Is that great? Just think if you could give yourself the command and follow it more than you do now, what would happen to your income? Go through the roof. The ability to give yourself a command and follow it. What are some of the ways of saving and properly investing time? Eliminate unnecessary activities. So what I do is if I ride a bike and a stationary bike, I have my staff give me my mail because I have 3 different corporations, and I open my mail while I'm listening to a motivational speaker or watching a video, audio. I'm listening to an audio, watching a video, and I open my mail and I look at it while I'm riding my stationary bike. That way I eliminate unnecessary activities. Now, What you want to do is, remember I said track 2 weeks of your time and then look at what you can eliminate and eliminate anything that's not necessary, that's taking you from GTM, get the money, right? So GTM, get the money, eliminate unnecessary activities, combine activities, do 2 things at once. Like I just told you, when I'm on the bike, I'm either watching a motivational speaker or I'm listening to music that motivates me, or I'm opening up my mail. Live by the word commitment. I told it to you before. I must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. I promise you, if you will just live by those words, you'll think of me and go, hey, Omar said, I must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. And that's what you want to do. Okay. Now, how can I manage my time more effectively? Here's what you do. Write down the 7 most important things you must do the next day. Write them down. When you end your work day, for some of you, it's in coming home from work. Some of you, it's in an office. Some of you, it's from your home. So just take 15 minutes, write down the 7 most important things you must do the next day. 10 minutes a day to plan, discipline all day. Time management doesn't take a lot of time. It's a paradigm shift, Stephen Covey, right? A paradigm shift. All you want to do is time blocking. Plan how much time to allocate to each task. So now you're doing that. You're not just putting what you got to do, you put like times next to it. Then estimate the time needed for each task, so you know when you should do that. If larger tasks, take care of them in manageable chunks. Work on the most important items first. What's the most important item? Get the money, GTM, got to make the money, get the money, GTM. You know, I talk to other top performers and everybody is like me. We wake up with a clean slate saying, I need the GTM. I need the GTM, make some money. All right. Now, before I start taking questions, I'm looking for 2 people to mentor one-on-one with me, 2 people, because I have 7 right now. I'm looking for 2 more. So private mentoring with me one-on-one. So the question is, are you willing to invest in yourself? I give you a great opportunity. Are you willing to invest in your future? Success is the moment, make every moment count. I am the mentor's mentor. I mentor most mentors that most people work with. And I was mentored by the mentors. So if you're interested, oh, we got 3 positions left. Email info@omarperiu.com and we'll reach out to you. info@omarperiu.com and you will get to, we'll send you a questionnaire. If you don't have to fill out the questionnaire if you don't want to, but if you want to, great. If you don't, you just say, hey, I want to talk to Omar for 30 minutes about mentoring and coaching. And I remember a lot of you still have that with me left. So make sure you take advantage of that. So guys, I'm going to have Danny stop the recording.